like that. It wasn't me. I honestly don't know what inspires me most of the time. It's usually some random things. I know when I'm doing gaming stuff, I tend to just let my mind drift, and I'll sometimes lock onto a visual image. A lot of times what starts me writing, there's absolutely no resemblance to what the end product ultimately is. The story very quickly veers off in its own completely different direction. The original inspiration is tossed aside. A lot of times I find my hardest problem is realizing that I'm putting enough ideas for 3 or 4 stories into something, and it's taking away from the main thread, and I have to tear out the alternates, the side paths, and the other ideas, and just focus on the core of what I'm trying to tell, and save this idea for another story or at least another sequel or something. I tend to do a lot of stuff, my short stories at least, that are sort of what I like to call the banality of the fantastic. I like taking a lot of older tropes and ideas and playing them completely straight, not deconstructing them or making them ironic or anything else, and just saying, suppose you're living in a world where this is your basic reality, where there are people in spandex who fly through the air and beat each other up, and this is just what day-to-day life is. What's it like? The Rainbow Connection, the novella I published, the idea there is that you have discovered interdimensional portals to uncounted infinite other realities, thousands upon thousands of worlds. And now it's about as exciting and thrilling as going to the airport and getting on a plane. Our hero, works in the copyright division of the FBI, dealing with people who are smuggling in books from other realities that haven't been written here, and thus are in violation of copyright of the authors who are here. And it's a horribly boring job, and he has to lie about it at parties to get anyone interested. It's the idea that you can take something as amazing as, a million alternate realities, and it just becomes part of life, the same way that all of our internet stuff does, and for that matter, jet planes and everything else that was fantastic for a couple of years, and now it's just, oh, great, I'm going to fly to London, oh, it's going to take 8 hours, and, then there's the jet lag, but I'll be able to email my wife. It's just totally mundane. And at one point it was fantastic. I loved playing with that.
Stuff just seems to kind of pour out. I work on like 6 or 7 things at the same time. And I work on one until it stops flowing easily, and then I switch over to another one. And it's like there's just a series of valves that open and shut, and I just keep pouring it out.
There was something J. Michael Straczynski said that I think is really true. I don't know about anyone else, but it's very true for me. That, once you start working as a writer, it becomes much harder to enjoy almost anything else, because when you see almost any other piece of work, whether it's movie, television, or book, you tend to have one of 2 reactions. How did this piece of crap get published? Well, I'm not. Or B, my God, I will never be able to do this good. I hate myself.
Yep. Pretty much.
And that is definitely, my reactions to almost everything I say. I'm going to write Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus. Why am I being asked to?
Because you got to get your own niche. One of the condos that it was a DEA. This guy was going around a couple years ago. He was awesome. In the vein of shameless self-promotion, he was like, I have the black gay fighting angel market corner. And I was like, yes,
I know him.
You do. I did.
More power to you.
Wasn't that about a kryptonite of an inch wide or something? It was about an eighth of an inch deep for a market.
But yeah, that can be hard to get published,
5
too.
miles long.
Yeah. Which one to me is Harry Potter?
Yeah.
I think it was Cory Doctorow pointed out that you really only need like 5,000 fans to earn an acceptable living as in a creative field.
As long as they buy everything, yes.
Yeah. Well, that's the assumption that you will have 5,000 fans who will buy everything, and some smaller percentage of people who will buy a few things.
Yeah.
But that's not too hard to get. The fact that I don't have that many is, especially.
Yeah.
One thing that helps me is being with other writers talking about stuff. Lizard here runs a sci-fi writer group at Louisville that has a source of inspiration from.
And you steal all their ideas.
Yes. I've always felt that someday the Vault writing group will sort of have the same cachet as the Algonquin Round Table. Oh, you were a member of the Vault Writers.
Yes.
You know, or the Inklings.
The Inklings, yeah.
You know, something
Yes,
like
notice
that.
token, yeah.
Yeah, and that will be us someday. But you do seem to have a lot of people you kind of pluck from that collective.
My target is actually 7 books with royalties on them. And when I get that, I'll dedicate the 7th one to the book.
Fame or fortune?
Fortune.
Simultaneity.
Usually if you have one, you can get the other.
I'm practicing things. One of the speeches I'm practicing is, I'd like to thank the Hugo Committee for allowing me to touch the award.
Yeah, if you say that, there's a lot of people who wouldn't want the award.
Were you touching it in a way that made it uncomfortable?
Ooh, let me touch it.
That was that cartoon.
That goes back to Larry Flynn again, doesn't it?
Show us on the award where.
Well, we established a while back, some friends of mine, a way of detecting something. One of the levels that we said you can look at when people are working on various materials. There's a thing you call the sweaty fanboy level. And you can be reading something or looking at some written work, and all of a sudden you'll get this kind of creepy feeling along the back of your neck, and you suddenly realize you've gone over the sweaty fanboy line. And this is where somebody has stopped writing or drawing or whatever creative for the sake of the idea or the creativity, and is suddenly indulging some personal fetish or vendetta.
But enough about the works of Piers Anthony.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen that in a few books and I hate it.
Like John Norman, when he got to the point where
I haven't read much of
the
his.
Gore,
Yeah.
the Gore books, I like about the 7th Gore book, and all of a sudden they stopped being these rather odd S&M books and suddenly turned into these seriously odd S&M books.
Philosophical.
To the point where anybody you saw walking out of the bookstore with one, you wanted to report to the neighborhood watch.
Yeah.
Now, are we talking about stuff that should have been bought in one of those bookstores that is away from every neighborhood?
Well, the thickness of the books went from about that thick to that thick, first off.
Went from.
Went from that.
There's a phrase I've used to describe some series that have gone on for too long. You're writing your own fanfic.
I've seen that, and if you have to explain an in-joke, it's failed.
Yeah.
People who get it should get it, and people who don't shouldn't even notice it. I know a couple of writers who they put an in-joke in and then they have to explain it. One of them was sports-related. It went right over my head.
That is actually one of the things that astounds me about Terry Pratchett is the books he's written in the 20th and 30th, volumes of the Discworld series in most cases are as good or better than the first handful. Whereas with most books, most authors, you get your good ideas out in the first book, maybe you have enough good ideas for a second or a third, and then it's just tedious hack work. But he gets sharper and better and richer as he goes on. The last couple I will admit have been weak, but overall, his trend has been upward.
I don't know, escaping that dungeon with a spoon.
Hey, but
It hurts more.
You can't have a masterpiece every time.
He has early onset Alzheimer's, exactly how far advanced it is.
We'll discover in the next book.
This is just
He
200
remembers
pages
right.
of Rincewind saying the word pancakes over and over again.
This is about 70 different characters. Yes, great. Go over.
But then there are some, to get back to your inspiration, and there are some very inspirational books. Modesta did one, I'm trying to remember, I think it was the Eternity Artifact, where he wrote, the entire book is in the first person, but it's the first person from 5 different characters. And you don't know which of them is the villain until about, say, 2/3 of the way through the book. By the time you figured out which one is the heavy, you've actually understood everyone's motivation, and it's hard to kind of hate the character that turns out to be the villain. It's, you understand why they're doing what they're doing.
A nice villain book I read recently is Soon Will Be Invincible by Austin Grossman or Grossberg or something. supervillain.
You should
fighting
never
with
say that.
Superheroes coming from his perspective of being this outcast genius guy, and all the superheroes kept interfering with his life. Very interesting.
I haven't read it yet, but I think I'm going to copy of that.
Fools, I will destroy you all.
Yes.
Ask me now.
Good reason for destroying them all.
I thought that I was going to go into sort of